Welcome to our fun dive into Aston Martin's secret features. These iconic British cars are famous for their stunning designs and roaring engines, but they hide even more surprises. Get ready to discover the jaw-dropping details that make Aston Martin a leader in automotive excellence. Let's hit the road. Aston Martin's unique key system, often referred to as an emotion control unit, has fascinated owners and enthusiasts for years. At first glance, it looks more like a crystal fob than a traditional car key. Pop it into the center console and you'll hear an exotic whir as the engine powers up. But did you know that some older Aston Martins include a discrete key slot hidden beneath the fob's docking point? It's rarely discussed because few owners even realize it exists. This small detail offers a more traditional backup start method in case that fancy crystal fob fails or the car's battery decides to throw a tantrum. This is both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it shows that Aston Martin anticipates technical hiccups by providing a simple workaround. On the other hand, it can be a hassle to find, particularly in a stressful situation. Some folks argue that the brand should keep the experience purely high-tech, but it's a lifesaver for those rare moments when the electronics don't cooperate. Rumor has it that corporate insiders initially wanted to remove any mechanical slot altogether to preserve the futuristic aesthetic. Controversy aside, it's a hidden gem that blends old-school reliability with new-school glamour. Ever since James Bond stepped out of an Aston Martin, rumors have swirled that the road-going versions might share some fictional spy gear. While you're unlikely to find oil slicks or machine guns behind the headlights, certain models do possess subtle illusions reminiscent of 007. For instance, the center console in some Aston Martins contains hidden compartments for valuables, echoing the spy gadgetry mystique. Owners have been known to stash everything from expensive watches to secret documents in these spots, effectively keeping them out of sight. Strangely enough, these compartments often go unnoticed, as they're integrated so neatly into the car's design. The question is whether they're actually practical or just a playful homage to the brand's espionage heritage. In truth, they're a bit of both. You might find you can only fit certain small items, which leaves some folks grumbling about the limited space. Others find the secrecy appealing. It's more about the thrill than raw functionality. Whether you consider it a gimmick or a glorious wink at cinematic history, you can't deny it adds a dash of Bond-like excitement to your daily drive. Aston Martin's reputation for blending luxury and performance is no secret, but the technical wizardry underpinning that reputation often flies under the radar. For many models, the company employs advanced aluminum and carbon fiber structures that reduce weight while maintaining rigidity. However, the real secret is the engineering process, a bonding technique more akin to aerospace assembly than typical automotive manufacturing. Instead of just welding parts together, the chassis pieces are bonded using high-strength adhesives and then riveted for added integrity. This process keeps the chassis incredibly stiff, improving handling and agility. It also helps maintain that signature Aston Martin balance, making the cars feel planted through corners. The drawback? Repairs can be painfully expensive. If you ever damage one of these bonded panels, a typical body shop might be left scratching their heads. Owners sometimes bemoan the exclusive nature of sourcing genuine replacement parts. Still, it's a perfect example of Aston Martin's relentless quest for performance, even if it does invite controversy around high repair bills. The benefit is a seamless blend of comfort and sportiness that few marques can match, and that's worth the occasional headache. Number 13, the mystery of the silent start mode. Anyone who's been around an Aston Martin knows the engine note is pure music, from that low growl at idle to the throaty roar at full throttle. But some newer models include a little discussed silent start function. By holding down a specific button on the key fob or pressing the start button in a particular sequence, you can fire up the engine without the usual bellow. This feature is unofficially referred to as neighborhood mode, because let's face it, not every neighbor appreciates a roaring V8 at dawn. While some brand purists find this option a betrayal of Aston Martin's iconic sound, it's surprisingly practical. If you're heading out early in the morning or returning late at night, you can keep the peace without sacrificing your beloved machine. The cons? You might feel like you're missing out on the theatrical flair that makes an Aston Martin special. There's also speculation that repeated use could slightly affect how the exhaust flaps respond over time. But for those who wish to maintain good relations on the home front, this clandestine approach to engine starts is a win. Before we move on to the next one in the list, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you're enjoying this content so far, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It doesn't take much, but it means a lot to us. Thank you. At a glance, Aston Martins don't appear to rely on dramatic aerodynamic add-ons. But beneath that clean, timeless bodywork, you'll find cunningly integrated air channels and diffusers designed to boost stability at speed. Engineers devote countless hours in wind tunnels, sculpting lines that manage airflow with surgical precision. The Vanquish, for example, hides small vents behind the front wheels to release high-pressure air, reducing lift and improving cornering balance. You likely wouldn't notice unless you crouch down for a closer inspection. Why keep these vents so subtle? Part of Aston Martin's design philosophy revolves around elegance, so massive wings and vents are often masked. The result is a car that glides through air without looking like a track day special. However, some critics argue that more pronounced aerodynamic features could push performance even further. Drivers who prioritize raw speed might crave an adjustable spoiler or larger splitters. But for those seeking refined performance wrapped in pure sophistication, these hidden aerodynamic solutions deliver enough stealthy advantage to justify their understated approach. In an era of massive touchscreens and endless connectivity, Aston Martin's infotainment systems often get overshadowed by the brand's performance legacy. One lesser-known fact is that some Aston models borrow technology from older Mercedes systems, which can result in features not widely publicized by Aston Martin itself. For instance, a seemingly simplistic media interface might hide advanced functionalities like voice commands or smartphone integration. To unlock them, you might need to dive into obscure submenus or consult the user manual, which, let's be honest, most owners rarely do. On the flip side, this means you can sometimes enable hidden perks like a specialized engine data display or advanced audio tweaks. Critics question why a premium manufacturer wouldn't emphasize these extra features more. A portion of the controversy arises from the rumor that Aston Martin's decision to license certain infotainment modules was a cost-saving measure, rather than an innovation-driven choice. Supporters argue it provides dependable tech without reinventing the wheel. Still, the brand's discreet packaging of these functions can make you feel like you've discovered a secret only true enthusiasts know. Aston Martin's participation in racing is well documented, but the extent to which track-derived technology trickles into their road cars is often understated. For example, the DB11's dual wishbone suspension borrows geometry from motorsport, offering both comfort and razor-sharp handling. Many models also utilize sophisticated damping systems that adapt to different driving conditions. The real secret is the hidden track mode available on certain models. By pressing a combination of dashboard buttons, you can unlock more aggressive throttle mapping, stiffer suspension settings, and sharper steering response. It's not exactly spelled out in the owner's manual, partly because it can transform your refined Grand Tourer into something akin to a race car. Aston Martin occasionally warns owners that this mode may wear components faster. Critics claim it's a marketing ploy. Why not highlight this racier alter ego more boldly? Others appreciate the hush-hush nature, as it preserves a sense of exclusivity. If you're brave enough to explore your Aston's potential on a closed circuit, you'll discover that track DNA pumping through its veins in ways you never anticipated. When people think of Aston Martin, their minds drift to that glorious V12 growl, but the brand's ongoing tweaks to that engine often slip beneath public notice. Over the years, Aston Martin has refined the design, reducing emissions, improving efficiency, and extracting more power without making a big fuss. Why so quiet about it? Because Aston Martin tends to emphasize the overall driving experience rather than chasing headline horsepower numbers. Yet the truth is that these silent evolutions often result in genuinely enhanced reliability and performance. One subtle advantage is better low-end torque, which translates to smoother acceleration during everyday driving. On the downside, some purists complain that the engine notes have become slightly tamer due to updated exhaust regulations. It's a tricky balance between raw excitement and compliance with modern standards. A few insiders suggest that earlier generation Aston Martins had a wilder, untamed spirit. Yet from a technical standpoint, the newer engines are more robust, refined, and environmentally friendly. It's a trade-off that sparks constant debate among dedicated fans. But there's no denying the brand's commitment to ongoing improvement, whether or not they shout about it from the rooftops. Aston Martin's climate control systems come with interesting hidden settings that occasionally stump even experienced drivers. Some models have an almost cryptic approach to directing airflow. If you tap certain sections of the touchscreen or press a sequence of physical buttons, you can activate specialized vents designed for rapid windshield defogging or targeted cooling for the driver's seat on sweltering days. These Easter eggs rarely get mentioned in brochures, yet discovering them can feel like finding lost treasure. It's certainly a conversation starter. Imagine giving a ride to a friend, then pressing an obscure combination on the console to instantly demist the windshield or blast chilled air to your seat only. The downside is that the interface can be finicky, and some owners grumble about the complexity. Nobody wants to wrestle with menus while cruising the highway. Still, these hidden gems prove that Aston Martin invests in passenger comfort in a delightfully quirky way. Once you master the secret handshake, you'll appreciate the thoughtful engineering that goes beyond just looking pretty. Aston Martin is typically associated with silky smooth automatics, but the brand has a history of offering manual gearboxes on select models, a fact that doesn't always get the spotlight. For the true enthusiast, a manual Aston Martin is the ultimate fusion of elegance and driver engagement. The feel of the clutch, the feedback through the shifter, and the ability to rev match on your own terms deliver a thrilling bond with the car. Aston Martin aficionados will tell you that nothing compares to rowing your own gears in a snarling V8 Vantage, for instance. However, manuals can be a double-edged sword for daily commuting. The clutch can be heavy, and stop-and-go traffic might become a chore. That said, many owners who opted for a manual describe it as a spiritual experience. The brand quietly introduced, and then quietly phased out, certain manual variants, leading to some heartbreak in the community. Critics say it was all about chasing broader market appeal. But if you can track down one of these rare manual specimens, you'll hold a piece of Aston Martin's best-kept secret in the palm of your hand. While the ECU key fob is a conversation piece, it has sparked controversy. Some owners report that the crystal casing can crack or chip unexpectedly, turning an elegant design element into a pricey headache. Aston Martin sells replacements, of course, but they don't come cheap. The real scandal is how certain owners claim the brand was slow to address the design flaw, leaving folks to foot the bill for repeated key replacements. On the upside, the ECU concept is undeniably cool. Sliding that luxurious fob into the dash feels like you're activating a secret mission. Critics argue that a traditional key might be more practical. Others see the fob as emblematic of Aston Martin's dedication to providing a theater of experience, even if it sometimes backfires. Nevertheless, the brand's loyalists aren't deterred. They say that if you're driving a car in this class, a chipped crystal key is a minor speed bump on an otherwise unforgettable journey. The debate continues, but the fascination remains. Aston Martin's seats are famed for their fine leather and meticulous stitching, but there's more to them than meets the eye. Some models have seat adjustment switches tucked in less than obvious places. You might find them on the side bolsters, or even partially hidden beneath the seat cushion. The reason? Keeping the cabin's silhouette clean and uncluttered. This design choice sometimes confuses new owners who spend precious minutes searching for the perfect lumbar support button. When you finally locate all the controls, you'll discover a superb level of adjustability, ensuring that most body types can settle in comfortably. That said, some taller drivers gripe about limited headroom, a trade-off for those sleek rooflines. Others question why a car at this price point would make you go on a scavenger hunt for seat controls in the first place. But it's part of the brand's DNA, a commitment to preserving elegance, even if it occasionally sacrifices user-friendly layouts. Once you understand the logic, you might appreciate the stealth approach to design, feeling like you've solved a secret puzzle every time you settle in. Aston Martin's Q division offers extraordinary levels of customization which go far beyond selecting paint colors and leather trims. You can commission one-off bodywork tweaks, personalized badges, or unique interior embroidery that truly makes the car your own. Despite the wow factor, Aston Martin doesn't heavily advertise this program, and many buyers remain unaware of how far the brand is willing to go. Insiders describe it as a blank canvas, hinting that if you have the cash, they'll find a way to fulfill your automotive dreams. The benefits are obvious. Your Aston Martin becomes a rolling piece of art, distinct from anything else on the road. However, going too wild could reduce resale value if potential buyers aren't fond of your neon orange seats or outlandish paint scheme. There's also the question of cost, which can balloon quickly. Some consider the secrecy around Q's full capabilities a missed marketing opportunity, while others prefer the hush-hush exclusivity. If you crave a genuinely one-of-a-kind machine, diving into the Q program is a thrilling proposition. Aston Martin has long carried a reputation for gorgeous craftsmanship that sometimes overshadows concerns about reliability. Stories of electrical gremlins, delicate paint finishes, and mechanical quirks have circulated among owners and critics alike. What's less known is the brand's behind-the-scenes initiatives aimed at tackling these issues, including a quieter partnership with key suppliers. The result is that modern Aston Martins often fare far better in reliability than their predecessors. Even so, skeptics argue that the brand still isn't as bulletproof as some competitors. They point to complicated electronics, specialized parts, and limited dealer networks as ongoing challenges. Owners who understand this maintain that it's part of the Aston Martin charm, an artistry that can't be boiled down to mere practicality. Yes, you might have to tolerate the occasional quirk, but you'll also be rewarded with a driving experience dripping in character. While the debate rages on, insiders say the company is making steady progress, showing a commitment to refining those hidden mechanical and electrical details that have haunted the brand's reputation for decades. Safety isn't typically the first thing that comes to mind when discussing an Aston Martin, but the brand has introduced progressive systems that operate discreetly behind the scenes. Certain models employ advanced traction and stability controls derived from racing technology, quietly correcting oversteer or understeer before you even notice. Others include optional driver assist features such as lane departure alerts and adaptive cruise control. The surprise? Aston Martin has integrated these aids so seamlessly that many drivers don't realize they're present. While some claim the brand lags behind more mainstream automakers in offering advanced safety suites, Aston Martin counters that their systems are engineered specifically for high-performance driving. The nuance lies in delivering assistance without intruding on the driver's command. Critics say the brand should be more vocal about these safety enhancements, if only to reassure buyers that performance and protection can coexist. For an audience who might assume these grand tourers are all about style and speed, learning about their understated safety tech is often eye-opening. It's a subtle but significant secret feature that makes these cars both thrilling and dependable. One of the most heated debates in Aston Martin circles involves the expansion of the company's production facilities and its move into new segments. With SUVs like the DBX now part of the lineup, purists cry foul, accusing the brand of diluting its heritage. On the flip side, insiders say these ventures are essential for financial stability, allowing more resources to be poured into the development of next-generation sports cars. Delving deeper, there's hush-hush talk about hybrid and electric powertrains set to appear in future Astons, a hot-button topic for an audience devoted to the glorious roar of internal combustion engines. This evolution is both a secret feature and a point of contention. Aston Martin is quietly forging partnerships and patenting technology to ensure they stay relevant in a changing automotive landscape. But is an electric Aston Martin still an Aston Martin? That's the million-dollar question. Some die-hard fans resist the shift, while others embrace the potential for electric torque and cutting-edge design. Regardless of where you stand, the brand's drive to innovate can't be denied. Aston Martin aims to preserve its classic allure while stepping boldly into uncharted territory, proving that even a storied marque isn't afraid to reimagine its own playbook. Jokes aside, Aston Martin's secret features, hidden controversies, and tech wizardry continue to intrigue petrolheads worldwide. Hope you found this video helpful and learned a thing or two about what makes these British icons so captivating. If you'd like more deep dives into the automotive world, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our growing community. Thanks for watching, and remember, an Aston Martin isn't just about getting from A to B, it's about experiencing every mile with style and a dash of mystery. Safe driving, and see you next time.